morning class. So for today, we will have a graded recitation about the topic last week. Any volunteer or I will call you randomly. Last week, I discussed about literature. So I hope all of you have learned about that topic. So let's start with you, Miss Maras. Okay, how are you going to define literature?
Well, from what I have remembered, ma'am, literature is the art of combining spoken or written and their meanings into forms that have artistic and emotional appeal. Literature has no definite meaning because it varied over time. And also, literature is derived from the Latin word literatura or simply means writing formed with letters.
Impressive, you got it correctly. For the next question, I want to know your idea about the importance of literature. Can I call Miss Ligad? Followed by Miss Yana and Miss Yabaw?
For me, ma'am, literature plays a vital role in influencing one's life. Literature gives people the opportunity to encounter different cultures through readings different authors around the world, which can expand their knowledge about the world.
How about Miss Yana?
My idea about the importance of literature is it can help people to understand different view based on the masterpiece of the specific literature, and of course it gives us reason to feel and think the message and learn to appreciate it.
That's great. And for the last, Miss Yabaw?
Literature can help the people escape the reality and take the reader and audience into different world, so that people can see creative imagination and thought.
Since we already know the definition of literature and the importance of it, who can give me the brief history of literature? Okay, go on, Miss Molina.
So, based on our discussion last time, literature reflects the history of humankind. Literature was first produced during the 4th millennium BC by the ancient Egyptian and Sumerian. Philologists discovered it by means of traces of manuscript from 4th millennium BC. However, if they include the oral and song literature, literature could be originated earlier than 4th millennium BC. Furthermore, technologies also helped the literature to be prevalent because it was first produced in mass media with the help of print technologies. Eventually, during the 21st century, literature started also to become rampant in electronic technologies.
Thank you for that, Miss Molina. Literature has 6 types, and I am certain that I assigned 1 types in each one of you. We will start again with you, Miss Ronaldin.
Good morning, ma'am. The first type of literature is drama. So what is drama? Drama in literature refers to the performance of written dialogue and stage actions. It's a literary genre that allows actors to act out a writer's words directly to an audience. There are many types of drama, but I will only present 3 since this is the common one. The first one is comedy. Comedies are usually humorous plays, and the famous example of it is William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. The second one is tragedy. Just from the word tragedy, you can assume that the ending will be sad. But there is more to a tragedy than a play with no happy ending, and the famous example of it is William Shakespeare's Othello. Then the last one is operas. Operas are the types of drama in which characters sing each line rather than speaking. The whole production is set to a musical score, and the famous example of it is La Boheme by Giacomo Puccini.
Thank you for that, Miss Ronaldin. Now let's proceed with you, Miss Ligad.
The assigned types of literature for me is prose. Prose is a verbal or written language that follows the natural flow of speech. It is the most common form of writing used in both non-fiction and fiction. Prose comes from the Latin prosa oratio, meaning straightforward.
Okay, is there any type of prose?
There are 4 distinct types of prose that writers use. First is non-fiction prose. Prose that is a true story or factual account of events or information is non-fiction. Textbook, newspaper articles, and instruction manuals all fall into this category. Then, fictional prose. A literary works of fiction. This is the most popular type of literary prose used in novels and short stories, and generally has the characters, plot, setting, and dialogue. Next is heroic prose, a literary works that is either written down or preserved through oral tradition, but it means to be recited. Heroic prose is usually a legend or fable. And last, prose poetry. Poetry written in prose form, this literary hybrid can sometimes have rhythmic and rhyming patterns.
Excellent, Miss Ligad. Now, let's move on with Miss Yabao.
Good morning, ma'am. I'll present essay. So what is essay? Essay is a short piece of writing that tells a person's opinion and thought about a certain subject.
That's good. Do you know some famous essay artists and their works?
Yes, actually, ma'am, there are a lot. But since lack of time, I can only give 5. So here is the famous writer and their works. So first is James Baldwin with his work, Notes of the Native Son and the Price of the Ticket. Next is Scott Fitzgerald of The Side of the Paradise and the Beautiful and the Damned. Then, Norman Mailer with his masterpiece, The Presidential Paper and Pieces and Pontification. Fourth was Ernest Hemingway of In Our Time of the Garden of Eden. And last, Stephen King of Heads Down and Great Hookers I Have Done.
Impressive, Miss Yabao. Now, can we hear from Miss Molina?
Am I audible, Ma'am? So, good day everyone. Based on my understanding about poetry, poetry is a literature that forms in a lyrical arrangement. And aside from its lyrical arrangement, it can also be classified because of its formal structure, which are rhythm, meter, lines, and stanza. However, poetry can also be in a free form in which there are no rhyming lines.
Cool. Do you know some famous poetry, Miss Molina?
Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves hot, all too short to date. Sometimes too hot the eyes of heaven shines, and often his cold complexion dim, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course and turn. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall not that brag till wanders in a shade. When eternal lines to time thou crowest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can say, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Oh, that was amazing. Now, let's go back to Miss Maras with haiku.
Okay, the fifth one is haiku. Haiku is a Japanese form of poetry that consists short, unrhymed lines. The most common features of haiku consist of 3 lines of 5, 7, and 5 syllables. A haiku generally presents a single or concentrated image or emotion. Matsuo Basho is the famous haiku poet of all time.
Great. Now, last but not the least, Miss Yana.
The literature that is assigned to me is miscellaneous, or in other words, the other various types of literature: biography, journal, diaries, and letters.
Wow. Can you also give us or further explain about it?
First is biography. Biography means the account of someone's life is written by someone else. Example is biography of Jose Rizal. Second is diary. Diary is used to keep a daily records of your life. Example is my own diary when I was a kid. The third one is like your logbook of ideas, which is called journal. Example is the journal of Leonardo da Vinci. And lastly, letters. Letters is written type of message and it can be used informally and formally. And the example is the letter of Frida Kahlo to Jesse Rivera.
Congratulations, class, for getting a passing grade. I hope you learned something to your classmate, and I am also happy that you have learned something to me. That's all for today. See you next week. Enjoy your weekends to your family and friends. Thank you for today. Okay, goodbye, class.